Okay, let us pray. Dear God, we thank you that today we can come and study about the multicultural ministry. We pray that you will help us to understand and how to run a church for all nations, all people. We know that we're facing a lot of difficulty, but we trust that you will help us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, let's go to let's see. Okay, let us go over some of the assignment here. This is the multicultural ministry that you're supposed to do. You join the lecture, you join every week, and you join the small group study. You read the textbook, field research. This is what I'm talking about, 30%. You're supposed to visit or join any multicultural ministry 3 times. And you do the evaluation about that ministry, the setting, the context, the impact, how they do well, and what you see that they need adjustment or changes. And what is your advice for them? About 3 to 4 pages for each one. And your group supposed to present that project in class, about 10 minutes. So in fact, we have that for here. Research 1, 2, and 3. And another big project is your final. Mean that your group going to plan for a future ministry together. Either a church, a retreat, or revival of something that will join all kind of people. So this is a big project for your final exam too. So this is some guideline. When you do your project, you talk about who you're going to work with and tell us what their need that you think they have and how you to meet their need and who going to do all this project together. And interview some of the team that you think going to work with you and some background of the ministry and how other churches come to help or get involved. And all the background and whatever you think that the project will work. And this is the final exam too. Okay, this is some idea that the cultural ministry that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to visit at least 3 or join 3 ministry that doing that meeting and write the report. And you also have the final exam, write a project about something you plan to do in the future by yourself or with your team. So that's 2 big things that you're supposed to do. So the field research is just about 3-4 pages, but the final multicultural ministry project, it can be up to 10 pages. Okay. Do you have any more questions concerning the project that you have to do and the final exam project too? Let me come back to you and get your question if you have for this class. And yes,
Sorry.
Hannah.
For the multicultural, you say that go to their church 3 times, or do we have to go and like join their like small group, or just go and worship with them and sit there and listen, or
You just go there and observe, take part in their meeting,
okay.
and like a project about that thing that you join.
Okay.
You're supposed to go to 3 different places or 3 different gatherings.
Okay. When you say gathering, it could be like their Sunday school class or their Sunday worship, right?
Yeah, worship. It can be anything that church do a special occasion with different churches or
Yeah.
join with a different culture.
Okay.
Like Thanksgiving, Christmas, or we have joined multiple churches. Yeah, you
Yes,
can write about that one too. Yeah.
yes. So the whole goal is we want you to learn from that project, how it works and how you can improve it. So the purpose of this class is about multicultural ministry. So it means that you work with different group of people.
Come join us on July 19. We have a picnic, and we have other group come join too. So welcome. July 19 at Reiko Park
Mm.
in Sebastopol.
Yeah, all those things will work if you plan. You see, we learned that in order to make it work, it doesn't mean that you run the project and just invite people to join you. No. When we talk about multicultural ministry, we mean that people will take part in planning, running the program with you. So you see that the whole purpose is we want you to learn how to work with different group of people, different culture. So it's not just you run the program and invite people to come and enjoy it. That not meet the purpose.
So have put them into a, like involved into the program, right, Ajahn?
Yes.
Okay, you can plan it, but put the other church involved into the program.
Yeah, they need to take part in the program.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. So it's 2 things. The first thing, you just go to observe how people do it. That the midterm project that you do 3 times, different occasion. But the final exam is your project in the future. Okay, any more question about your project? Okay, you might come up with some more question later on. Let us continue. Let's see. Okay, tonight chapter 8, we talk about in order to work with multi ethnic or multicultural, we also talk about the multi-generation. So in typical church, you will have different group of people, different group of age, from little child, teenager, young adult, middle age, up to senior citizen. That normal church supposed to be that way. In the past, all churches is that way. But in modern day time, you go to more churches in America, you will see that that is not the case anymore. Modern day churches in America is mostly, you might say, one generation church. So what that mean? It means that this is senior citizen church, this is young adult church, this is teenager church, or this is a young family church. Majority of people will be just one group. And people ask, how come? A church supposed to be all kind of people, but why modern churches in America is just one generation church? So clear. Well, there might be many answers to that. First, modern day churches feel that they can concentrate on working with one group of people at a time. So they don't need to work with so many group of people in the same time. They find out that it's a lot easier. Like when you work with one group of people, you can concentrate on what they love, what kind of music, what kind of sermon, what kind of activity. You just aim for that group. But when you have multi-generation churches, you have to do all things for every group, like little kid, teenager, young adult, and middle age, plus senior citizen. They say that all different generations have different interests, different background, and different demand. So modern day churches don't want to do that variety of things anymore. They just want to concentrate on one generation of people. And now if you ask which generation that a lot of churches concentrate on today, well, you might say that it divides in two groups mainly. One group will concentrate on young people. Young people, because they have all the energy, and a lot of churches want to work with them because they feel that this is the group that can build the church, the group that have all the energy, all the power, and a lot of future, young people. When I say young, I don't mean about teenager. I just mean that young adult. Another group that work mainly with senior citizens, not because they choose, but because they have no choice. As you know that most churches in America, the existing church that's still running, mainly are senior citizen churches. Mean that people in the age group of 60, 70, 80, who still sit in that church for many years. So the church is not dead, but there's no more strength to grow anymore. So it just keeps going until most people will die off. So this is the group of churches that close down every year in America. They estimate that around 5,000 churches in America close down every year. They are senior citizen church. People will die off until not enough people to keep the church going anymore. So they close down the church. So majority of them still alive in America. So you see that how to rebuild a church for every generation again? Well, we have to find out together. But here in this article, in this lesson tonight, we will face a few obstacles together. And the first thing that we facing, they call stereotype, mean that people brand the church that this is old church, this is senior church, this is young church. And people already brand the church that they want to go or doesn't want to go. So this is not a very good way. And the second problem is when you try to put different generations together in one church, you beg for a problem because they all have different demands. They all have different expectations. And people say that they even speak different languages. I don't mean that they don't speak English. They all speak English, but different kind of English. They use different words for different meaning. So that thing is going on between different generations. And value. Each generation have put their value on different things. Some generation or people expect maybe more security and a lot of things about old things, their past experience, while the young generation expect friendship, excitement. So you see that what they expect from church so different. And what they go about reaching other generation, well, every church say that we want to work with young people, but in reality, how can we do it? And the advice that we need to learn from the past, how the church have started, how the church have grown, and each church have different story. You don't expect that you have lived a long time and you know everything. In fact, it is not. Because each church have their different past. And we all need to learn about each situation. Now, the next article is talking about how difficult it is to put many different generations in one church. They talk about millennium, Generation X, and grandma generation. When they talk about grandma generation, they talk about baby boomer. Baby boomer are the group of people who born after World War II. So they are the group of 1950 or 1940 something up to 1960 something. So today they are in the group of about 80 to 60 something. So this is the group we call grandma generation. And they intend to use the word grandma because a lot of men already dead. This generation, most of them are women who still sit in church. Most of the men already die or have no intention to come back to church. So it's appropriate for them to call grandma generation. Now, Generation X is a little bit younger, mean that most of them in their 40 something. And millennium in their 30. But now today we have Generation Y. Generation Y is in their 20 something. And even we have Generation Z, mean that they are teenager now, still very young. So now you talk about how you put different generation in one church. Well, some churches still can do that if they are very big, like all the churches in the South, they still can do that because they're so big and they have all the money. And those people in the South still very conservative, mean that everyone's supposed to go to church. So the church have all the resources and all the willing to keep all generation in church. So you see that they have a lot of things that work for them. But when you come back to the West or to the East, it's different story. More people who live in the West or in the East are more liberal. And church is not a place that they want to go. Yes, there's still some people who want to go to church, but not in a big thing. So more churches in the East or in the West are small compared to the South. I talk about in America. So you see that when church is so small, you don't have all the resources, you don't have all the manpower to do or work for different generations. I know that some churches try to work with children. You ask them how many children you have, they say maybe 4 or 5 children. Well, yes, you still have to work with them, but it's not a lot. How about teenager? Maybe 1 or 2. How about young adult? Maybe 1. More churches in the West today is old people, grandma. Maybe up to 80% of them who sit there are grandma. Maybe 5%, 10% grandpa generation. And now how you put all of them together is somewhat impossible. Now, I don't know, we have to discuss because we're facing the same problem. And how you try to make everyone happy is somewhat impossible. So more churches will try to rotate their thinking, their music. Okay, this week concentrate on senior citizen. Another week concentrate on young family. Another week concentrate on teenager. Well, they try, but I don't know how it works. We can share that your church try that, rotate music or singing. And now about the preaching, the preacher, the pastor themselves. How can he rotate his preaching, his style to fit different group of people? It's going to be very difficult too. This week you concentrate on senior citizen. Another week you concentrate on young family. Another week you try to preach the youth, the teenager. So not all pastors equipped to do that. Or his sermon style will fit that too. But in the practical sense, we have to do something if we want to have everyone in the same church. We know that each generation have different needs, different expectations. But how we make everyone compromise in the sense that we want a family of everyone, sit in the same church, and work as a family. People say that you reflect American family. Most American family are broken family. What that mean? Mean that more than half of family are divorced. They have all the staff who live together for a short time, And by 18, most of their children will leave home, go to college, go to work, and never come back. So you see that a big gap already there. And you interview all the people, all the young people who left home for college. Even after they graduate, you ask them, you will go back home to live with your parents? The answer, almost sure that no. They won't go back home. Even they still live in the same city with their parents, they're still not going home. They will live by themselves, either single or get married. They live by themselves. And if you ask them, will you come back to your parents or grandparents' church? The answer is no. Almost 100% answer is no. Why? Well, a lot of them feel that if you go back to your old church, your old home, everything, it means that you're not growing up, you are not independent, you still cannot be adult or grown up. That one thinking. And the church that they born or grew up is something that they don't expect to go back. Very few will go back. Now I know that after COVID, the trend a little bit have been changed. They say that some young people move back home, not because they want to, but because they have to, because of economic, because of personal need or whatever. Some young people move back home in the last few years. But it doesn't mean that they want to move back to their old church too. It's not translated that way. Yes, some will go back to visit their old church since they move back home, but most of them will not stay. They might go back to visit their friend or something, but a lot of them won't stay. So now church still have a lot of work to do. How we welcome all the young people back to church. What change we need to do? Oh, a lot of things. Now here, the article will talk about the silent generation. In fact, it's like the baby boomer generation. But this is in the time of World War II. They say that this is some classify them is they before. They are the parent of the boomer. Well, it depends. You might call them that way. Let's see. They call that this is the parent of the boomer generation because they born before the war. They born before World War II. So they might be a little bit older than the boomer. The boomer, they classify most of them are born after World War II. When the war ends and people come back home and start have a lot of children. So this is we call baby boomer time. Our government try to encourage people to get married and have a lot of baby because a lot of people die in World War time. So this is the biggest group in that 20 years, several million of them. Now, Generation X is the children of the boomer. So now they are in the, you see that the boomer in the almost 70 now, in the 70, 60 to 70. But the Generation X, they are the children of the boomer. They are in their 40s, 50 years old. And the millennium, they are born after 1981 until now. So they are in their 20 to 30 years old. And generations, in fact, they skip one they call millennium or generation Y. Yeah, they have two names to call this group. Now, today we talk about generation Z. They're just in their 20 or younger. They are teenagers in this group mainly. So this is different group of people that the church need to look at and how to work with them. Can you put them together in one church? Each generation have different thinking, different expectation, and different experience of life. You can talk a lot more about the differences, how they work, how they save money, how they use money, and how they spend their time. They're all different. We can go on and on and on. And even you know they're so different, how can you put them together in one church? It's quite a challenge. Now we try to find a bridge, mean that something that we can make them come together. When we talk about a bridge, it means that they might live in different parts, but they can cross over through the bridge. So this is the picture. Each group in church might have different expectation, different style, but we need to find a bridge that can bring them together from time to time. We talk about the bridge. We don't talk about melting pot. We don't talking about how to combine them into one, because we know that that's impossible. But at least we're going to build the bridge that bring them to see each other from time to time. How we do that? The advisor with a few advice that we're going to talk more later on. But I want you to reflect first on the different group of people in your church. You need to start thinking that how many generations that sitting in your church today, and what your church try to do about them. You think that you already start something, or you're going to do something for different generation of people in your church. The first thing is you need to classify how many generations in your church. How many percentage of baby boomer, generation X, generation Y, and generation Z? Okay, just think a little bit. I want to come to you and let you share different generations in your church first. So you understand the classification of different group of people from baby boomer to generation X, Y, and Z. So boomer, I think a lot of you are in that generation. If you are in your almost 70, but it may be most of you not in that generation. You might be in generation X, maybe the children of the boomer. But your children in generation Y and your grandchildren in generation Z. So think about it. How many percentage of each group in your church? To start with.
I think only have two groups. the old, and then the really young baby. That only two group, and then
So,
in the middle somewhere like millennium, we don't have it.
so how the baby come into the picture if they don't have parents?
The parent, we don't have that much a young parents like with we have few young parents. They have like a 3 or 4 babies coming.
I see.
Yeah. And our church is small group.
Mm.
30, 40 people, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, at the church, you have the same situation? Or you have all generation?
อาจารย์
Yes.
I noticed one church it ranged from 15 to 80 something. And one thing I noticed is the music. Some said not loud enough. Some said too loud. That's not worshiping. I just talked to the secretary today. She said music is too loud. I cannot take it. She said every time she go to church, have to plug her ears. So I think it's really difficult.
Well, you need to look at the majority of that church. Who are they? So I guess maybe majority are young people. Or some people say no, but the music director are young. Or the worship leader are young.
And one time I saw a note from a church goer, and that person said, "Pastor, the music is too loud." And some complain the music is not loud enough. So who to please?
Well, you see the people who sit there, most of them are young or old.
I say maybe about I don't know. Maybe, it's really diverse. Very diverse.
Well, if the old complain that it's too loud, but they still sit there, it means that's something good for them there.
I would say that a people issue.
People complain all the time, but if they sit there, it means that something still works.
To me, I think if you really care about God's word, I think you have to sacrifice a little bit, like the lady said. But lady, just put the earplugs.
Well, that's another good way to deal with. So the church might have another good thing that she still keep coming. So I think you can learn from that church. They can make everybody sit in the same church, even not everyone happy with everything. So the church might fit each group with certain things that they're happy. That for sure. Young people love loud music, fast and loud. If you want young people, the music is one thing. So how about to make old people happy?
We cannot make them happy, Achan.
How you make them to come to church every week?
We can, but maybe for the elder, like have a separate worship and not mix it with the younger generation so they feel more. I don't know.
You know that I see one church try this way. When they sing, they separate. But after they sing, they come to join together for the preaching.
Do you know what chapter we're going to study next class?
You mean now?
No, for the next one.
The next one going to be chapter 9.
Okay, thank you.
So I have seen one church try that way. They have different worship style, mean that different singing style on different room. And people can go to different room to sing. And after the singing, they have a very short break, and everyone come to the worship room to listen to the sermon.
Dan, we in our church we have a different group. Like we take turn. Like we one group with a music. And for example, the first week of the month, that's with music. And the second week is a piano group. And for the young adult. And then the next one might be the third week is a music again. And then fourth week is the elder one with sometimes with piano or sometimes without piano. And we take turn. So each week we worship a different group for the leading song. That's how our group, our church.
It worked well with everyone.
So far, it's still okay, but I don't know. Going longer, maybe something change. I don't know.
So you mean that the church have all different age group
Yes.
together?
Yes. And for the English service, that one is only the youngster leading for the music for the service. But for the men service, that one we have that different week. We have different group to lead the service. But for the first week of the month, then we have combined service. English and men speaking, we combine. So sometimes the young youth, they leading the service. Most of the time that is for the combine, we have a communion that week, we have to combine. But otherwise the same different group for leading the service.
Okay, that's good. I think you have tried something that worked.
Yeah, we try, but I don't know in the future how it go.
Yeah, we cannot worry too much about the future.
Yes.
Just need to do it now. What we can.
That's how our church.
That's good. I think you have tried something good that worked.
Achan?
Yes.
What you mentioned earlier is really good idea, but I don't think every church can afford it to have like 2 big rooms and instrument, everything separate. I think it's very good idea. I think it's the best way, I would say, but not every church can afford it.
Yeah, you see, like Farm mentioned, the adult, the old people, they just want one pianist, that's enough. But for the young group, they want the whole team. They want the drum, guitar, bass, keyboard, everything. So if you have the whole music team, I think it worked for the young people. But for the adult, I think just one piano or keyboard will work for them. But still, you still need someone to lead several groups.
I think Ajahn, what Pham was saying, I think maybe in the same audience, but there's just like every week different group lead this worship. I think that's what she said. She mentioned.
Yeah, in her church.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked for them. I think it's a good thing. When you try something and you can keep more people with you, I think that's a good idea. So I encourage all of you to try something new and let other people take part.
Ajahn, one time we tried it. We had the idea, but one person said, "Wow, it's a good idea, but it seems like we are just competing against each other." We say, "Okay."
You think it's a bad thing to do?
But to us, it seems a good idea. But when somebody they don't agree, what can we do? We cannot force them to obey us. So we let go. We let go that idea.
For our church, it's okay because we want to give everyone, just like Ajahn said, take part. Some young group, they don't want the old people to join. So that way we make all adult, they have part and they can do 1 week. And then music, they want music, they have 1 week. And those young adult, they want a piano group, we let them lead to 1 week and let them, everyone has, time and then to praise God and take part in the service. That's what we try to do, but just for now, I don't know. Yeah, just like Ajahn said, don't worry about the future. For now, we just do that, and we'll see what God is leading us, what to do, and just pray for it. That's it. Cannot do anything.
Yeah, you're right. Nathan mentioned something. People might feel that we compete with one another. That's very real. They might feel that way. But you as the leader need to confirm to them all the time. The whole purpose is not for competition, but to help different group of people have the way to worship that meet their need. I know it's for the leader, it's very difficult to help them and to try to mention to them all the time. Okay, you have any other comment before we go back to the lecture? Let's see. Okay. In this article, they say that in order to make building bridges between generations in your church, the first thing is every group needs to recognize that we come together to make a church to worship God. And we have the same goal. And we need one another. Some group might think that, oh, we don't need them. We can go out and build our own church. Well, we need to let them know that in order for us to be strong and to reach out to more people, we need to support one another. We cannot choose the easy way out by saying that we want just our way. We don't care about other people's way of thinking. So we need to change that concept. We need to think that we care about one another. Blending worship style, this is the mean that we compromise the young people, the old people, that we can help one another. We don't just get all we want, but we're going to support one another. It's true that you can survive without them, but think this way, they might cannot survive without you. So this is the whole thing. You stay there not just for yourself, but to support other group too. And each generation need to talk and need to work together. Misunderstanding can happen. So regular communication or the meeting of leader have to happen all the time. Don't wait too long. At least monthly meeting or even weekly meeting, a short meeting, always good to help communication. What you have planned for on each group, what they want, what they need. And when something happens, always deal with it right away. Don't wait too long. Some misunderstanding or some situation happen all the time. So you need to talk. We need to talk. And always emphasize differences, but this is the real church. We are not just all the same thing. God put all different people together for his church. So we need to honor that. And don't try to make other people look like us, feel like us, and think like us. Diversity is a good thing that God put together for his church. Now let's face a lot of difficulty that when you try to put every group together to worship in one group. We talk about music already. And this is the fact. All people like a certain kind of music, and young people like a certain kind of music. All people want a slow, quiet melody. The young love heartbeat, loud music. And you need to find a way that everyone can be happy at part of the worship. If you put them together, you might have to mix loud music and quiet music, fast music and slow music. So you have variety of gender or genre of music for every week. Don't just satisfy one group and ignore another group. I heard an old lady saying that why we need drum, because in heaven there is only piano. Well, that might be too much to say that way. Technological integration. You see, modern day service will mix with all technology, and technology can help a lot to bridge the gap. Some people say we don't have someone to play certain music for certain group. Technology, internet, and all kind of technology can fill the gap, can help provide all the need that we don't have. So it just have to work and plan well. And number 3 that we need to work with, communication style. Some people love to talk directly. Some people love to read your reaction. Some people just want to talk through the phone or text or something. We need to find a way that we can communicate with everyone who get involved in church leadership and all the worship team. Find a way that everyone can express their feeling, the way that we can talk, can discuss, and can make the bridges. And number 4, we cannot ignore the differences between generations. And just don't expect and think that they want this, they want that. Ask them, talk to them. Because when we have what we call stereotype, mean that we just assume. And assuming can cause a lot of problem because it's not the fact, it's just what we think that they want or what they believe. Assuming always cause problem. So ask them straight what they want, what they think, what is the problem, what is the situation. Don't assume it. Just ask and talk and explain. Because all the stereotypes cause a lot of problem in churches all the time. So in conclusion, we face a lot of challenge, but by the help of God, we can work it out. And God wants His church to be a peaceful church and reach out to everyone. The problem is with us. It's just we ignore other people. We just want what we want. And we just want to make everyone look like us, think like us, and feel like us. And that is not the right way. Differences will always be there. But in the body of Christ, He welcomes differences. And we need to feel comfortable with all the differences or diversity that God put together for His church. It's not our church, it's the church of Jesus Christ. And we are just part of it that He put it there. Now we come to another article talk about there is some good thing in all the different generations that God put in your church. But at the same time, it can kill your church. So how you going to make it work for you and make it to be beneficial to you? Now we come back to our culture. You look at American culture. People always say that American culture is one generation culture. It means that you grown up, you live by yourself, you get married, you have kids, and then your kid move away. Only you two old people live together and die. Your children will not come back. Your grandchildren will never come back. You might see them once a year. And you look at Asian culture. In the past, Asian family can live together for 3-4 generations under the same roof. Why? Because they know that we need to respect each other and we need to support one another. Young generation support the old support the young. So we learn how to be together harmoniously all the time. In America, in the past, we are not in one generation society. In the past, before the new thinking come in, American also a family of many generations too. We have grandparent generation, parent generation, and grandchildren generation under one roof too. But we change. And this is not Christianity. This is just secularism, individualism that come into American thinking 50, 70 years ago. And it changed the whole dynamic of American family and American lifestyle. And later on affect our churches too. Now, this is some thinking that if we are different generations try to live together, we need to understand one another. This is the chart that talking about different generations. The silent, the elder, this is the parent of the baby boomer. They're born before World War II. We need to learn how to humble because this is in the very old grandparent generation. And the good thing about this generation is they're very loyalty. They're very stable. And they start all the whole process of many things in our culture. But now, if this generation still survive in the 80s, 90s, they need to be humble and people will respect them. They don't need to brag a lot about everything. Now, the baby boomer, they are in their 60s, 70s now. And they always control everything because they always the head, the leader. And success is what they always want. So this is the lifestyle. But if they want to be part of the church, they need to be careful. They don't control everything anymore. They need to share. And they need to recognize other generations too in church. How about the generation X? They are in their 40, 50. They want the independence away from their parent and grandparent generation. They want their freedom. They want them to get involved with anything the old people start. But they can come and work with their parent, grandparent generation. If they want to help, they can be a good bridge. The millennium, the one in the 30, 40, they still work really hard, they still build up their family, and they have all the good ideas. They can be a big bridge to help the older generation with the younger generation because they are just in that age of parenting. They are young leaders. They are the young adult of the church. And they can be a bridge. They still have the strength. They still have or the energy to run the church and do many things. So we need to put this generation to be leader more. Generation C are the children. They are teen. They are young. They still go to school. And some of them might just get married, start working. They're still looking for their freedom. But this is the future of the church. We have to bring them back. We need to depend on them. And whatever we can do to bring them back or keep them in church, this is the hope. This is the future. This generation, we cannot let them go or don't let them run away from church. So you see that each generation have their strength. Each generation need help. And each generation need to accept different generation. And here talk about a lot of research, a lot of study, try to think about them. And we found out that if the church don't care about young generation, the church will die soon and no hope. And if you ask the young generation, most of them don't go back to church. They left church after high school. Most of them left church after high school. Now, if you study about all the people who go to church, most young kids go to church with their parent or grandparent. But by the time they reach middle school, almost half of them drop out of church. By the time of high school, maybe up to 70% of them drop church. And then when they go to college, almost 100% drop church. Maybe a few come back after that, a few percentage. So you start with 100 kids who come to church as children. By the time they leave for college, almost all gone. Very few will come back. So you ask why? Well, there are all kind of answers. But we need to do a better job to keep them at church and to help them in the transitional period from certain age to another group. A lot of challenge for them. And at the church, I think we need to do a better job to help them. And here another study talking about changes that not come to people alone, it comes to churches too. You see that they say that a lot of changes happen in churches. First thing, the church used to be a place that people we call sanctuary. They go to pray and worship God, but it changed from pew to chair. So you see the dynamic change. We're not going there to kneel down to pray anymore. We go there to enjoy music or concert or something. It's moving around. Hospitality. The old generation, church is a family. You know almost everyone. But modern day churches, you don't know anyone. And nobody knows you too. Even the pastor, the staff. You might go there for several months or years. Nobody knows you. And you don't know anyone. It's a big difference. You always stranger in modern day churches, big churches, especially giant big churches that all the young people love to go. And attendance. In the past, the church, the Sunday school check roll, and they follow up after you miss 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But today, nobody cares. You come, you don't come, nobody cares. Nobody visit you. Nobody think about you at all. Politics and church. Well, somebody say in the past, the church get involved more. But today, people say church ignore more. Well, it depends on what kind of church that you go to. But in the past, we always say church and politics are 2 different things. church don't talk politics, and politics don't get involved with church. But in fact, it is not. It's always mixed, but it can be good and bad. It depends. The Bible says that we need to get involved in our country. We respect government. We take part in paying tax, voting, a lot of things. But in the same time, it's a separate thing from what we have at church. So some people say that younger people want the church to get away from politics completely. They want a pure church that no politics at all. So it depends. Some old people say no, church need to get involved in some way. So that might be a point of separation between generations too. Leadership. More churches run by old people or different generations. So young generation looking for younger preacher, young leader. But it's not easy to make one leader or one preacher. It takes time. So young people need to ready to sacrifice, to go to get training and respond to calling from God. So we see the gap of today. Even in giant big churches, it's still run by old people, not run by young people, because we don't have leadership in the young position or young people generation up there yet. So we need to change that too. Now, the sixth thing that we need to think about is we care about the people or just a project. A lot of churches just want that this project fulfilled, but they don't care about the people who get involved or the people we work with that much. Because we think of success as the project fulfill the goal. Instead of people come to salvation or people have good relationship with God or not. We just care about the number instead of people's life. So we need to change that the past generation think a lot. But we hope young generation think more about people than number. Conversion and relationship more than success or project or number. So this is all the important thing that we talk about, how to narrow the gap between generations. We need to care more, we need to communicate more, and we need to listen more. Some people love to talk and love to give our idea, but in the same time, they never stop to listen or think about what other people care. So this is all the thing that leadership today need to listen to people who sit in the pew and all the young generation, what they need, what they want. Okay, I want your reflection on what we talk about here. How about your church? You listen to young people more or encourage them to share or to take part in leadership?
John, instead of answering, I have question. Yeah, almost the same like your last question. Why young people they don't get involved on leadership? Is it because the other elders think that they are too young, they're not wise enough, or just they're not interested? And second one is I had one one time I was talking to the new guy. And I asked him, "Are you part of the church? Are you a member of the church?" He said, "Yes, I am. I think so." He said, "What do I? How do I do to become member?" I think I told him that you have to fill up the form. He said, "What?" He said he'd been going to the other church and he thought he was part of the member, but he said Oh, I didn't know they have to apply for it. So
Yeah, you see the differences. The old generation, we need to go to classes, we need to baptize, we need to fill form, we need to make promises, a lot of things. It's like a club. But for new generation, they just pop in, pop out, and they feel that they're already part of it. And they don't make long-term commitment. This is young new generation. Now you at a church, how you adjust your church to that thinking. If you still demand them to sign a contract, to fill the form, to go to certain classes, a lot of young people will not take part in your church or ministry. And some churches, we don't care. We just want the one who make commitment. Now, this is a good answer or not, or a good way.
I think Nathan asked question. I wasn't sure if you answered. He said that why the younger people are not taking a leadership role.
Well, I guess that they don't want to make commitment.
They're not interested.
Or hey, but be quiet. Or could it be like the leader at church, like they have like people in mind that they want to be in a leadership, but then like people wanted to be involved that they don't want to. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Yeah, I believe they all have different reasons. But still, I think we all get the point that the old generation need to give them a chance, give them opportunity to do something, welcome them to get into the leadership role. You think that modern churches, the old generation, open up for young people to take over? I mean, leadership role.
I think if they are really committed to that, then I believe they can.
You think they do it now?
Ajahn, to me, I think just like you mentioned about the word of leadership, I think kind of scared them too because big responsibility. Maybe that's kind of scare them away.
Yeah, the whole thing is responsibility because leadership not come cheap and it come with a lot of string attached. Commitment. And when we talk about commitment, we talk about responsibility, work, sacrifice. You think that young generation not ready for that?
John,
Yes.
in the USA, most the leaders are the old or little older. But when I went to Vietnam, there's one church. There's a lot member and most leader, all the young youth, all the leaders, they that day, that night, the pastor told us that, oh, this is our leader for the song or for chairman, whatever. Oh, when we look at it's all young, younger than my son, or everyone is young leaders. But in here, for example, our church, not that much. The leader, most leader is old people.
And do you find out why?
I'm not really know, but what I think is like maybe they are strong enough. They can do everything. They can, learn faster or something. I'm not sure, but I see that church a lot member and they like over 1,000 over 1,000 members and big church too. That when this pastor came to US one time already. The time that we had family camp, he preached over there. That's why. Then after that, they went back. That's why Kay and I and Yao Chien family, that time we went there. See that all the leader is young.
So the church is and many years old church or new church?
I think how many years old? That is San Fin's church. It's a long, how many years?
Since 1998, so they have been built a new church like about 8 years, 10 years about now.
10 years?
Yes.
Longer than that. It's 1998. This is 2025 already.
No, they've been, serving God for a long time, but in that town is not that much person, that much, the members. Just about in 10 years back to now.
So where all these people come from, that new believer?
That's from around the village.
He also talks about that in his area that village only half people become Christian.
But
And
still,
yet still the half is not Christian yet. So maybe if like all become Christian might be a lot.
So you mean that most of the men in Vietnam are Christian?
No, not that much. But we average the Mian people in Vietnam now is over 1 million people. They just allow 80,000 or 90,000 people. This is about 9%.
Still non-Christian is a
The
lot.
rest, about 910,000 people still not the Christian. And that's only about approximately 90,000 or close to 100,000 people of 1 million. It's about 10%.
That's still a lot.
But it's a lot of people over there, Mian people.
That's why I
Yeah,
said
a
that's
lot.
about over 1 million right now. 1,050,000 some people over there.
How many men in America are Christian?
When my uncle just talked to me about 7 years ago, we close to 60,000 people right now.
I'm not sure.
So John, I don't really approximately know about that.
60,000 mean all Christian or
No, all together in Indian society.
So what Ajahn asks is
About the Christian, maybe about 20%, okay, at least maybe 20%. There's about 18,000 million people in 60,000 people.
I mean, you
It's
said
about
20%.
17%. John don't know how to calculate it.
still a big group?
Still big group. We're not even half yet.
Have to pray. Keep praying.
In Canada, just only one family. The rest are Christian. I can say it's about 99% already.
You mean me in Canada are Christian that many?
That's maybe about 300 people. That's only one family, about 5, 6, 7 people only don't non-believer.
Because that's not that much people.
Yeah, that's
why.
about 300 people over there.
Yeah, the whole.
Well, but now we talk about how to bring young generation back to church.
It's difficult, Ajahn. Difficult.
Well, but it's still important to do.
Yes.
Yeah, talk with all the young leader, what they need, what support they want. You know that in America, more people who come to know God is before they're 13 years old. More than half. And by 17, Christian in America is only 75% of them become Christian before they're 17 years old. And another 20 between 18 to 25. After 25 years old, only 10% come to know God. So now you see the number. All the young people come to God, but not all. When they're old, it's so difficult, even in America. Only 10% of Americans over 25 will become Christian.
John, they don't say much about the Lao Christian in America. Well, in 2000, I think Joshua, study or identify. It's very hard to identify. They said it's about 4% of Christian in America for the Laos, but 60% are Buddhists.
60% Buddhist and 40% Christian.
No, 4%.
And what is another 36%? What are they?
I don't know, because I just look at the Google that they study in 2000, and that's all they post. It said 4%, around 4% of Laotian population in the United States identify as a Christian.
Wow.
4%.
So 36% is nothing. If
Could be.
60%. But for the Thai, 95% Buddhist, 3% Islam, Christian less than 1%. So,
They said the population of Laotian in America was about 180,000. That's in 2000 only, John. This is in 2000, about maybe how many years ago? 20 years ago?
Yeah, but you see, we don't have new Lao coming.
Right.
Only the one who born here. But I don't know the one who newborn and the one who die, what the number.
Yeah.
But still, so many studies confirm that people will come to know God when they're young, not when they're old. So that is the thing that we have to work harder for young people. They have a better chance to know God. When they get older, it's more and more difficult and less chance.
They say Lao Christian most belong to minority ethnic group.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it means that the Hmong, the Mien,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that might make sense. The Liu Lao, the Lo Lao, maybe not that many. I think 40, 50 years ago, there are more than 100 Laotian groups. I mean, Christian Lao in America, or mission or churches. But I think today you just have a few left. Yes, the one old generation died off, but the new generation left church. I see a lot of Laotian churches, I mean groups. Now they just have a few old people left. And they need to join with the American church. Well, it's not that bad. At least they still keep on. But my point is how we reach out to the young generation. If they still go to church, that's good. But if they never come back, so what you have any plan?
Meeting,
What did
open
you-
meeting in the church
Mm,
and talk to everybody, encourage them.
mm. Yeah, that might be the good idea. Let people talk and give response, give advice. Because different churches might have different way to reach out to your own people.
So try to get everybody get involved in the church, inside the church.
Yes,
And have a part to do inside.
yes, they need to be part of the leadership in the team. We need to let them have part. They won't just come and sit there. So this is some idea, your project, you need to go out visit other churches that do the ministry of multi-ethnic, multi-generation, and how they do it. So you need to write a report on that. You can make a group report when you visit different group and come with the idea, how they work, how they do it, and it is successful or not.
So how many, what is the question we try to asking about that, to write out the report? Like,
First, you got to see how they do it. Why, how they bring different generation to sit together or different culture to come into one church. How they do it. And why people come. Are they happy? And what law they have in that church. They just go there and sit, or they do something too. So your job is to observe, to talk, to ask questions. How you do it? Are they happy? Does it work or doesn't work? And if you can suggest them, what should you suggest them to change or to make it better? Okay, you have any more questions? So if not, I will give you a break and allow 15 minutes. We will come back for another class.